You know, I thought we were done talking about The Little Mermaid. I thought the discourse had ended. We've already confirmed the movie is a flop. So we might ask, Leon, why are you bothering to talk about The Little Mermaid? And here's why. Because I have found the single most self-aggrandizing racist argument for The Little Mermaid in this article. You gotta see it to believe it. So welcome back to Words of Paradise. I'm your host, Leon Idle, and let's get into why people just will not let The Little Mermaid die. The global backlash against The Little Mermaid proves why we need a black area by Teo Barrow, Teo Barrow, and I assume this is her. This is the photo of her. I tried looking for her on Twitter. Nothing there. When you pull her up right here, it just says Teo Barrow is a freelance journalist. No other photos or anything like that. No little biography about her work or whatnot like you see with other journalists, which I do find strange. I also find it strange that a journalist doesn't have a Twitter profile, at least going by this name. There was literally one result for Teo Barrow on Twitter, and it had one follower. So yeah, I'm not going to come out and say that this is a fake name or a fake account, but it is awfully suspicious. But let's read the article, and you'll see just what I'm talking about when I say it is utterly repugnant and racist. The Little Mermaid drama continues as racist backlash about the movie seems to have led to abysmal box office numbers in China and South Korea. Stop believing this. It ain't true. If China was so racist, then why did Black Panther kill it there? Why has the Spider-Verse movies been killing it? Like tell me about all these other movies that have black main characters. Now, don't get me wrong. Is China racist? Oh, yeah, for sure, they're racist. However, to say that their racism is keeping them from seeing this movie, then we should have seen the same thing for all these other movies with black leads, but we don't. Racism in China, it's pretty quiet, much like real racism here in America, if Dave Chappelle is to be believed. Just like the hate campaign against the movie in the US, which included the infamous Not My Ariel hashtag, tell me exclusively why not wanting a remake of a movie is a hate campaign. In what world does that make sense? This is what the media is trying to do. It's trying to just forge this race war, like, oh, black people against white people, oh my goodness, it's so incredible. No, people don't want to see a classic movie remade. It's that simple. There was this level of vitriol for the other live action remakes. It's not just because of Black Ariel. I mean, yeah, that added fuel to the fire, don't get me wrong, but you had your boy out here campaigning against things like live action, Lion King. People don't want to see these cash grab nostalgia bait remakes, but you're trying to turn it into a race thing, and you're going to have idiots that believe articles like this. Chinese and South Korea social media were inundated with bad, unverified reviews and outcry over the casting of a black Ariel. First of all, what does it matter if they're unverified or not? People are allowed to have opinions. Quit throwing this whole verification thing in individuals' faces like, oh, you gotta be verified to have an opinion on the internet. Like, no. That is not how free speech works, lady. Overall, the reaction wasn't a surprise. Halle Bailey herself told The Face that as a black person, you just expect it and it's not really a shock anymore. Really. Where was Idris Elba with that sort of comment? Where was Will Smith? Where were any of these fantastic black actors that we have all grown up with, that we've been raised on? Where was Michael Jordan with those sort of comments? I mean, I know he's not an actor, but, you know, public figure, rich and famous. Where was Bill Cosby prior to the rape about all those sort of accusations? Let me know. I'm curious. Denzel Washington, what are his thoughts on this? Why is it that you're trying to make this a thing now when people of my generation have grown up with black people as cultural icons? Like, let's be real. We have a black president, or had a black president at this point. Where does all this racism just come from after you've had people like Michael Jordan and Barack Obama? I think you're making this up. Why though? Why was the fallout from this specific film so predictable? Yes, anti-blackness is a common feature of American public life, and here it goes. This entire article from here on out is about anti-blackness and what a problem it is. Now, are you really surprised that somebody that looks like this, you know, a black individual, is writing this? No, there's an inherent bias here. And I will make an amendment to my earlier statement. She does, in fact, have a Twitter. It is very strange that she doesn't have a biography or anything like that. They don't promote her Twitter, but she does have one. I was able to find it. Just wanted to get that out there. But the point is, this is a very biased article. So since she has a Twitter, let's take a look at it. Auntie fun times. Oh yeah, reading articles like this, they're just full of vitriolic race baiting. That's real fun times. Columnist at The Guardian, Radio CBC. You know, I don't see any pronouns in the bio, so you're not really progressive or woke enough. Oh, of course, Toronto. How would you know anything about, you know, American sort of, you know, journalism or American movie going? You're in Toronto. Maybe that just means they're in Toronto right now. Maybe they don't live there. I'm not sure. But yeah, it's awful strange to be talking about how blackness blackness, anti-blackness just permeates North America when you're not even in the U.S. I mean, I know there's black people in other countries. It's not just a U.S. thing, but Canada ain't exactly known for its black actors. Let's be real. Canada's known for white people and maple syrup. Audiences are possessive of cultural properties like Disney classics because they serve in many ways to reinforce the U.S. national narrative that in white worlds, all heroines are white. Are you bananas? Blade is one of the most famous Marvel movies of all time. Black dude. In what world do you live in where America is so obsessed with white heroes? That has not been the case since like at least we'll say 90s and onward, but we'll go back even further. Zorro wasn't exactly white. Zorro was one of the oldest standing archetypal heroes in cinema. Now, I get it. Back then, he was probably the exception, not the rule. But the point is, you are making this narrative up that America is just so, oh, the movies have to be white. People only want white heroes. Static Shock disagrees. I'm sorry, you probably don't know who that is because you're invading this culture and you don't actually know anything about it. Static Shock, classic, awesome black superhero. And when the heroes aren't white, they exist in their own worlds where the extent of their influence is limited to characters who look like them. Give an example. You say that, but give an example. More than just fodder for nostalgia. No, they're not. The classic stories are part of U.S. myth building about itself. Making a black woman the central figure in the myth disrupts the well-established hierarchies that have been embedded in that national narrative. Then why didn't Princess and the Frog fail? Tell me that. Why do people love Princess Tiana? They should loathe her. They should be like, oh, Princess Tiana, this dumb insert racist expletive here. But no, people love the Princess and the Frog. People love Princess Tiana. Your boy Leon loves the Princess and the Frog and loves Princess Tiana. When I went to Disney World last summer, she was literally the fucking princess that I was the most excited to meet, and oh my goodness, was the actress playing her just gorgeous. The point is, Americans, white people, whatever, do not have this pro-white narrative about heroes and their story. Otherwise, movies like The Princess and the Frog would have failed. That the fallout reached China and South Korea shows not only global reach of anti-blackness, yeah, anti-blackness is global now. Really, anti-blackness is global. What's Africa known for? That's right, black people. Where's Egypt? Right, Africa. Egypt rejected the Black Cleopatra show. I don't think Egypt is particularly anti-black, even though they're in Africa, probably not an anti-black culture. They are, however, anti-race bending history and all these awful negative things that you're trying to force down their throats. Do you really want to sit here and say that an African nation is anti-black? That's a very big assumption you're making. So if you want to talk about how anti-blackness is a worldwide problem, no. People can just see through this shit that you're trying to peddle like some sort of snake oil salesman in this racist article. You're painting the entire world as racist against black people, despite the fact that black people also exist all over the world, and again, have been a fixture in American cinema for decades. You racist slug. Now, we're not going to read the rest of this article because it's really more the same, just absolute tripe. It's just her trying to race bait over and over, and my god, is it absolutely disgusting. But there is more we're going to cover. We're going to cover some other articles, because articles about The Little Mermaid are still popping up left, right, and center. Well, not really center. It really only seems to be fixated on the left and the right. What a shock. However, there's something I need to show you guys about these articles and these headlines that, again, we can all pick apart as long as you use your noggin and a little bit of critical thinking skills. The Little Mermaid swims past another major domestic box office milestone, so it makes it sound like, oh, the movie's doing great, what a headline, the movie's doing good. No, it ain't. They're opening words. As it enters its third week of release, Disney's Little Mermaid is delivering bittersweet results at the box office. Dude, it's flopping. If you don't believe me, watch my previous video on this. It is a literal flop. They need bare minimum, being generous, over $560 million at the box office to break even. It's not that, guys. I mean, this was published 18 hours ago for me, so by the time you see it, the movie has been in theaters for 2 weeks. It is not making an additional over 240, 230, something around there, $1 million at the global box office. That's just not happening. That's not how movies work. But what about bounding into comics right here? Opinion: Disney's decision to make The Little Mermaid exclusionary is why the film bombed at the box office. No, stop. You're doing the same thing. You're just doing it on the right wing. I ain't a fan of that. Now, is there some truth to it? I don't know, maybe, but the real reason people don't want this is not because they made it exclusionary. It's because people are sick of these nostalgic cash grabs that are soulless. If people make making black characters was exclusionary, once again, The Princess and the Frog would not be a beloved Disney princess story. But again, that movie kills it. Spider-Verse killed it. Having a black lead does not make something exclusionary. Now, that might not be what the article says. And to be fair, I haven't read the article. They may go on to make a different explanation. But the point is, you're using a baiting headline like this, a race baiting headline, the exact same thing that the left wing does, but you want to claim to be, oh, we're the good guys, we're the arbiters of what's all right, we're on the right side of history. You're just the right wing version of these race baiting left wing websites. Maybe give us, an actual honest headline. Maybe talk about how, oh, the Little Mermaid is failing not because of the black lead actress. The Little Mermaid is not failing due to racist China. Something like that. Don't throw in a buzzword like exclusionary. You're literally asking for the same comparisons to people like CNN or Collider or The Guardian. No, you're just as guilty of it. You don't get a pass just because usually you make some alright points about being anti-trans and shit. Go woke, go rich. The Little Mermaid sends racist trolls into meltdown. Earns $350 million in just 13 days. Really? Earns $350 million in just 13 days. Well, first of all, in America, it's earned a little over 200 million. And by a little over, I mean it has earned 201 million in 13 days. Guys, that's not impressive. First of all, this movie, once again, needs at least, if we're being conservative, $560 million to break even. Making $350 million in 13 days globally, not good. You want proof? All right, let's take a look at some proof. Here's the Super Mario Bros. Movie. Guess how long it took to break 201 million, which is, again, what we're sitting at domestically for Little Mermaid right now. Oh, okay, 5 days. Yeah, it only took 5 days to do what, again, Little Mermaid has just now done in 13. But hey, maybe that's not a fair comparison. Super Mario Bros. Movie, that's a pretty white movie. A lot of whitey, like the Super Mario Bros. Let's go, white people to the theaters. All right, fair enough. Let's take a look at some black leading films. Some movies that got a little bit more melanin to the lead actors. Let's see how their domestic box office stack up. Let's go to Spider-Man, Spider-Verse. The movie has only been in for 7 days, and it is already almost caught up to The Little Mermaid. 7 days in the theaters, $170 million so far. Just 30 million shy from where The Little Mermaid is sitting at the 2-week mark domestically. We are already well over halfway there, almost catching up to it with just 7 days. Are people so racist, or did they just not want this particular film? But alright, hey, it's an animated film. It's for families. Well, first of all, Little Mermaid is also for families, but alright, let's talk about another black character. Let's talk about Black Panther. This movie absolutely dominated, people loved it. Yeah, Disney covered up the Black Panther's face for the Chinese poster, but people in Asia still went and saw it. Let's take a look at its domestic box office. Wow! 3 days, $202 million domestically. It eclipsed The Little Mermaid's current 13-day box office gross. 3 days. I'm tired of this narrative that it's all racism. Maybe, just maybe, people are wising up to the agenda, and also, they just want good movies. Is that so difficult to really believe? Can you genuinely tell me it is so hard to believe that people just want good movies, and that maybe, just maybe, they don't want to be preached to and told they're racist for not going and seeing a movie? If someone was to sit me down and say, Leon, if you don't go see this movie, you're a racist, I'ma not go see the movie just to be obstinate because they talk to me in such a pedantic fashion. So yeah, that's where we're sitting with The Little Mermaid. And if I don't sound as jovial or uplifting as I usually do when making fun of this movie, it's because the time for fun is done. We see genuine racist articles out here saying that people all over the world are anti-black, full-on attacking other nations for being racist, and it's all America's fault. It's all the good old USA's fault. We made all these other countries anti-black, and that's why we need Black Ariel right now. No, we don't need Black Ariel. We didn't need this movie to begin with, so we wouldn't have needed it even if it was White Ariel. We didn't need some shitty corporate cash grab nostalgia bait film. What we do need are just good stories. And you know what? If you don't like what was done with The Little Mermaid, if you don't like the fact that people didn't go and see it, maybe learn from that instead of trying to blame all your problems on, oh, my racism, my anti-blackness, because so many other black-led films, again, like Blade, like all these other movies I've talked about just in this video, have done just fine. So where was your damn racism then? This is my opinions, though. Let me know yours in the comments down below, or let me know on Twitter where you can find me at BoltTheWord. And please do subscribe. I am a nerdy news channel. I cover nerdy news every day, and I swear, I hope this is the last time we talk about The Little Mermaid. That being said, I don't just cover movies. I cover everything from Magic the Gathering, video games, anime, you name it. It's all here in the nerdosphere, and this has been Words of Paradise.